A little bit about fad diets. First of all, they don't last. They involve denial and deprivation, and they only work for the short term. Some of the fad diets include the Zone diet that uses the 40-30-30 plan for carbohydrates, fats, and proteins respectively. And they talk about how if you have less insulin production, you'll have less fat storage, and that fat and protein are more satisfying, so you'll be less hungry. The argument there is you need about 60% carbohydrate in order to be able to exercise and to have the energy to exercise. The muscles rely on glycogen for energy, and that comes from carbohydrate. Extra calories will lead to fat storage anyway, so it's really about the total amount of calories there, not that that there's insulin production. The Atkins diet is a carb elimination diet to the point of ketosis. Ketosis basically will cause you to lose your appetite. People who reach ketosis have bad breath, poorly fueled muscles, and it can actually lead to death because your brain relies on ketones, on sugar for survival, but it's dangerous for the body. A lack of variety leads to food boredom, so eventually people go off this diet, and you don't get any phytochemicals, fiber, or heart protection from the food that the diet recommends. The South Beach diet is basically a modified Atkins diet. They leave out rice, pasta, and breads, but you can eat fruits and vegetables. If you always feel guilty about foods that you can't eat, or you're going out with your friends and everybody else is eating food, normal food like grains, fruits, and vegetables, but you can't, psychologically that's going to eventually really get to you, and that's how people go off these diets. It's just not realistic. The low glycemic index diet, really that's about the amount of sugar production from eating foods, and its bottom line is it's completely meaningless because we always eat a variety of foods, and we eat foods in conjunction with other foods. So if you're just looking at carrots, for example, well, if you eat carrots with meat, that would balance things out. So don't get caught up in the whole glycemic index fad. Ultra slim fast diet, it's only 180 calories at breakfast and lunch. That is not enough calories to provide energy, especially for someone who's exercising. So you might try having it with dinner if you eat breakfast for a king and have a nice healthy lunch, but it's not enough calories, dangerous. Other ones, double duty exercise program, using exercise for punishment, and then you'll end up eating more calories because you'll be starving anyway. The fat burning thermogenic program, they use things like ephedra and mawang, and they have been led to several deaths in the United States and adverse medical events. So try to avoid products that contain these items. The portion plate program, yeah, it may not be enough food for athletes or people who are exercising regularly, but it works well for people who are overweight. Let's talk about some myths and some truths, and you decide. Are carbs fattening? Well, you've probably heard from many of your friends that they are fattening, but it's not true. They're only 4 calories per gram. Fat is 9 calories per gram, so that's the demon, and alcohol is 7 calories per gram, and it's so easy to drink calories that way, and you can end up taking in a lot just with a few alcoholic drinks with friends, so that's really another area to be careful with. How about high protein, low carb diets? Well, the total calories are more important. Carbs hold water, so when someone goes on a low carb diet, the body eliminates water, and lots of weight is lost through water weight, but you're not losing fat. Basically, protein and fat are more filling than carbohydrates, and that's the theory behind these diets. It's hard to stay on this diet, however. You need to be able to maintain an eating plan for the rest of your life. I tell my clients this all the time, is can you do this forever? Because if you can't, then it's not the right eating plan for you. You've probably heard if you eat fat, you will get fat. Well, we need 25 to 30% fat in our bodies. Your brain is all fat. So total calories still count. Fat-free is not necessarily calorie-free either, so I don't think fat-free foods are necessarily the safest to eat either. Oftentimes you'll notice that they'll have sugar-free items in their ingredient list that are not necessarily good for the body either. So try to eat whole foods as much as possible and avoid getting those preservatives and little additives and things that may not be good that haven't been tested. Food eaten after 8 p.m. turns to fat. Well, depends on the food. What's your caloric allowance for the day? If you're supposed to eat 1,500 calories in a day and at 8 p.m. you eat your last 100 calories of that 1,500 calories, that's not going to turn to fat. The body needs that for energy. So be careful who you listen to and ask them why when they come up with facts like that. If you're physiologically hungry, then you need to eat, bottom line. You may have heard that exercise kills your appetite. Well, it might temporarily, but most people are pretty hungry after they exercise. So don't use exercise for weight loss. Use exercise for fitness and fun. Exercise will increase the need to eat. Typically men will lose weight quicker than women through exercise anyway, and that's another disturbing thing for women who are trying to lose weight. It's just not fair. And then other people say train for the Ironman triathlon to melt away the fat. In other words, just train like crazy, run lots, swim lots, bike lots, do lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of exercise. What we found is that people who have really, really hard exercise sessions, they go home and they're so tired they sit on the sofa for the rest of the day and watch TV. And so we found that if we average out their calories, they're not really burning that much more than the average person because they're sedentary when they're not exercising. The other thing is, they go home and they have to eat so much to make up for those calories burned. Most people underreport what they're eating. You may have heard that a fatter person needs to eat fewer calories. Well, no, larger bodies need more calories to sustain themselves. So initially, if someone goes on a major reduction in calories, they may find it really, really hard to just exist during the day. So they may need a few more calories to lose weight initially. How about those athletes that need to get into weight classes? Like boxers, for example, and wrestlers, they have to weigh in, or rowers. Cyclists also need to be lightweight to perform well on the bike. Jockeys have to be super lightweight. There are concerns about the safe levels of body fat. For men, you really don't want to go under 5%. You start noticing the body doesn't function as well. And for women, that's 12%. Those are the cutoff guidelines. The other thing that we know, if you have drastically reduced your calories in preparation for an athletic event, know that starvation and dehydration can actually hurt your performance, even though it might have gotten you into the weight class that you wanted. Would you rather compete feeling healthy and strong, or would you rather compete feeling miserable? So just some things to think about. Well, I hope you enjoyed that lesson, and if you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you very much.